Hey, what's up? How's everybody? Sorry. How's everybody doing out there? This is your boy Terrence Trotman, and I am speaking to you live this morning. It's a Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here at my where I live at, and I hope you guys having a good day. Hope you had a good week. I know I did. Um, this is what we call Let's Talk, and it's a new segment I came up with. Earlier this week. I was thinking about it. And one of the things I want to talk about is something that everybody likes, and I know we all do like it. How many of you love Disney? Okay, I know I do. I love Disney. In fact, I actually got the Disney Plus when it first came out. I was one of the first people that actually got it back in was it 2019? You know, And I'm gonna tell you right now, I enjoyed every minute of it. I love the service. I love everything about it, even the original programming. But I wanted to say something, and I know a lot of people are not going to believe this. I'm not. A lot of people are not going to. They say they can. It will never happen. But I do believe Disney is in talks with Warner Brothers. Yes, you heard me correctly. Disney is in the process, in talks with Warner Brothers in acquiring the Warner Brothers property. And the reason why I say that is because um, if you guys remember when we used to see The Simpsons, and everybody knows Simpsons was part of Fox, um, they always made references about Mickey Mouse and the evil corporation and everything else. And this is way before Fox was bought by Disney. Well, and we seen what happened. Disney bought Fox. So, um, recently on some of the Disney's original programming, they have been making a lot of references to a lot of the Warner Brother trademark characters. Uh, Needless to say, if you look at the newest reboot that Disney came out with, which is the Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, which debuted yesterday on the streaming plus, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a good. I enjoyed the storyline, I really did, and it brought back a lot of memories of Disney afternoons. I remember growing up in the Bronx. We used to watch that. They used to come on Channel 11. But one of the things I was noticing was how they actually made references about Warner Brother characters, uh, which was very unheard of years ago. You would never seen a Warner Brother character on a Disney cartoon, and this year was so blatant. Over the years they kept we heard rumors that Disney was going to buy Warner Brothers. Disney was going to buy DC. Disney wanted to do this. Disney wanted to do that. Um, which I do believe that is happening right now. Believe it or not, people, Disney is in talks with Warner Brothers, and ironically, because of what's been going on with Warner Brothers recently in recent years, The movies have been, put it like this, really crappy, with the exception of a couple of them. And it's, you know, Warner Brothers is losing out. They're losing money with the DC brand. So I was talking to one of my friends that worked for Disney, and they was telling me that in the next couple of years, don't be surprised within the next year or so, Disney will come out with a big announcement saying they have acquired Warner Brothers. Um, what would this do for Warner? What would this do for Disney? Well, what I'm going to tell you this: when Disney, not if, but when Disney acquires Warner Brothers, this is going to it's going to bring a lot of stories. It's going to repurpose the brand of DC. Um, we will have a DC crossover, a DC MCU crossover. Definitely, it's going to happen because in the comic books, a lot of people don't remember. If you wasn't born, if you wasn't around back in the 1980s, there was an issue where the X-Men and the Teen Titans teamed up. Um, Also, there was a character that Stan Lee, the late Stan Lee, created called Access. And Access was a character that can go and travel between both universes, DC and Marvel. And I actually remember that character because it was featured in one of the I think he was featured in the crossover comic with X-Men and the Teen Titans. But I'm gonna tell you right now, uh, with the accusation, I mean, um, with the arrival of DC or Marvel being acquired by Disney, everything's going to change. It's going to change the entire landscape, and DC is not going to be the same no more. We will actually have it will be actually be better movies, and I do believe that another thing that they was telling me was that Disney is going to be making up it's going to have another part of the streaming service, which will be more of a mature rating. Um, they said when they acquire Warner Brothers and they're going to acquire DC. That's going to automatically include DC. DC and Marvel are going to be in a separate entity along with Star Wars. It's going to be a separate entity for Disney Plus subscribers, streaming services. It's going to be a whole other level. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I do believe that this is going to happen, and I tend to agree with that because years ago I kept saying that DC and Marvel was gonna go team up. I said that years ago, and when Marvel was bought by Disney, and I kept saying Disney's gonna go after DC eventually, and a lot of people said no, they could never do that. That would be a monopoly. I said it like this: look what Vince McMahon. If you're interested, look what Vince McMahon did. For some of you young people out there, you don't remember, but your parents do, and your grandparents definitely do. They remember there was a time when each wrestling had its own territory. WWF back in those days controlled the Northeast. There was the NWA, there was the AWA, there was the World Class Championship Wrestling that did the Texas area. Um, there was the PWA, which was the Pacific Wrestling Alliance. There was a lot of wrestling in each territories. And what Vince McMahon Jr. did, he bought out those territories. And then when you had WCW came up, and it was two separate entities battling each other, and all of a sudden WWF or WWE bought out WCW. And that ended the two that ended one way to get rid of your competition, you acquire your competition. And that's what Vince McMahon was saying. And that's what he did. And I think that's what Disney's going to be doing. And I know that's going to be a factor because all these years, everybody's kept comparing DC and Marvel. DC is a copy of Marvel, which is the other way around. Marvel is a copy of DC. DC was out a lot longer before was out years before Marvel came out. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, DC's new." No, DC's not new. Marvel's more newer than DC. DC was out long before because it was known as Action Comics, where Superman #1 came out. Also, Detective Comics, which where Batman came from. But I'm gonna tell you right now, DC is set the standard. If you look at the characters from DC and Marvel, it's almost identical, except changing the names. Good example, Wonder Woman. We all know she wears red, white, and blue. Who's the equivalent to Wonder Woman? Captain America. Okay. Batman. Billionaire's fantasy of being a superhero. Who's his equivalent? Iron Man. Tony Stark's. Also, Superman, the man from Krypton. Superman, the Man of Steel. What's his equivalent? It could be the Hulk. It could be well, it can't be Captain America, but it could be the Hulk. It could be Thor. It's so ironic when you look at this. But like I said before, Disney is, and I'm going to say this again, Disney is in the process of acquiring Warner Brothers. And I know we're going to get the big word later on. It's going to happen within the year or so. Within the next 2 years, we're going to hear something big. Because if you look at some of the new anime that's coming out on Disney Plus, look at the references. And you'll see a lot of the references they're going to be using a lot of the Warner Brothers product. They're going to use Warner Brother characters. That's telling you that they are in the talks of getting Warner Brothers. I wouldn't be surprised Disney buys HBO, and we all know that HBO also has, if I'm not mistaken, HBO has the Muppets, which is owned by Disney. So I'm giving you guys a heads up. I know you guys are not going to believe me. I know you're going to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But the signs are there. You just got to look at it. Just look at it. Because how often in recent years, and think about it, a lot of the old timers, if you're seeing this, think about this. What was the last time you ever saw a a, a Looney Tune character in a Disney movie? The last time we saw something like that happen, and it was a big fiasco, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was one. That was one of the last times. But since then, we haven't had no real Looney Tune characters crossing over into Disney cartoons. This is a start, and they are showing signs. And I'm gonna tell you right now, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. Tell me what you think. Hit me up. If you believe what I'm saying, if you don't, let's talk about it. Give me your reasons why that you don't think Disney will ever buy DC or Marvel. I mean DC. Sorry, they own Marvel, but will never buy Warner Brothers. Tell me the reason why. The signs are coming down. The signs are right there. Look at the next new animes that's coming out on Disney Plus, starting with the Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the new one, the reboot version that came out yesterday. Start checking those out. And look at any other cartoons on the Disney Plus that's coming out. And you're going to see a lot of references. In fact, they did a lot of references to, there was some characters that was from Nickelodeon. They even mentioned Nickelodeon. I mean, it was so funny. Disney is acquiring its competition. They are trying to get all the cartoon studios. Tell me what you think about that. Do you think it's true? What do you think? Let me know. This is Terrence Trotman, aka Enoch. And I'm telling you right now, things are happening at a faster pace. Believe me, I seen it coming. Okay? You take care and always keep an open mind and be creative. All right. Talk to you today. Love you. Bye-bye.